going to follow those recommendations. That's the roadmap. That's the next step.
A police department under siege. Tonight, the Fort Myers police chief tells NBC2 he needs the feds to step in. Good evening, I'm Kelly Burns.
And I'm Peter Bush. Chief Derek Diggs wants the U.S. Justice Department to help clean up the mess. Tonight, NBC2's Levi Ismail spoke with the chief about the report that could dramatically change the department.
Now, in our 15-minute interview with Chief Diggs, he was very careful trying to make sure that anything involving the Department of Justice was done by the books. He did, however, open up about the free report, and he says that everything in that report and those recommendations, he wants to make sure they're implemented here. He's a man of few words, but he's candid.
Yeah, come on. Bring it on down.
I'll say it. I mean, you have the free report. Was that as eye-opening as you expected it to be based off of some of the stuff that was said in there?
Well, I don't know if it's eye-opening or not. You know, the free report is about a needs assessment. It's similar to our audit. You know, it ain't gonna be all positive, and so you know you're gonna have bad things in it.
There are plenty of different accusations made in the actual report. Accusations like officers feeding information to known drug dealers and cliques forming in the department, creating a divide.
I read it, I've digested it, but I'm moving forward. I don't have the time, I don't have the patience to sit back and start wondering why.
Other complaints involve officers cheating on exams to receive promotions into departments like the homicide unit, possibly putting any number of high-profile cases in jeopardy. How do you address some of those issues where people say the integrity of the officers at Fort Myers Police Department is just not where it needs to be?
You follow the recommendations. Once again, I'm embracing that report.
The free report listed 32 recommendations moving forward. Many Chief Diggs says he's already implemented. Do you feel that the city is safer because of some of these actions that you've made?
Well, it's not feel, I know, okay? If you ask the people out there, they'll tell you.
Many are crediting Chief Diggs with cleaning up gang activity after the arrest of over 20 alleged Lake Boys gang members. For Diggs, it's just one component of keeping Fort Myers safe.
So we're doing the right things. We know the city is safer. We're starting to build relationships.
I did ask Chief Diggs about the 5 officers that were placed on leave right as soon as the free report was released. He says that he is not going to answer those questions directly, but he did mention that they are going to follow all of the recommendations by this independent group and some of those recommendations that were made in that report. Now, this group was funded, or this group was paid for by the city of Fort Myers, and that was where the report actually came from. Reporting live in Fort Myers, Levi Ismail, NBC2.
On the Night Beat, is the Fort Myers Police Department making the grade? We told you earlier about a scathing audit revealing several shortcomings at FMPD. Wink News wanted to know, what do you think? Night Beat's Kasey Kushner talked to several community members.
The number of unsolved crimes is staggering, from detectives failing to document investigations consistently.
I do have some concerns, and you know, I've never said that we didn't have challenges. We got challenges.
Some of the more high-profile cases are ZombieCon and the Club Blue shooting. There were potentially hundreds of witnesses, and yet no one is charged in those killings. Wink News wanted to know what the community thinks, and they stand behind their officers. Tanya Cola is the coordinator of Dunbar Neighborhood Watch. She's also planning a community vigil tomorrow night.
I think sometimes we read too much into certain things, and I think that we should give them an opportunity and a chance, because I know that they work really hard to make sure that we're safe in this community.
Business leaders say they believe Southwest Florida is relatively safe compared to other areas.
So crime rates here are going to be lower than a lot of the areas, and the quality of life is better. People move here for water, warmth, and way of life.
Still, there is clearly a need for improvement. Kasey Kushner, Wink News, now.
Research shows crime rates can directly impact property values. One study indicates that a 10% reduction in homicides would lead to an increase in home values the following year. Community members say they know change takes time, but they hope after this audit, the Fort Myers Police Department can clean house quickly and keep everybody safe.
Now, alarming allegations against some Fort Myers police officers. A new independent report out today claims they leaked search warrant information to drug dealers, and those officers received promotions. This is just one finding from the review of that department. Wink News reporter Michelle Kingston was there when the group revealed its findings today. She's live now with more on what's next. Michelle.
Well, they're calling for a lot of changes within the department. They're asking for additional staffing, more training, even reevaluating supervisors. A lack of officers to solve crimes and preferential treatment within the department were two main issues brought out in an investigation within the Fort Myers Police Department.
That cannot happen. That is something that needs to be addressed one way or the other.
The city paid the free group $150,000 to investigate and found there's a culture of failure and defeatism, integrity issues, and cliques that divide the officers.
The great majority, if not almost every single person we interviewed, said there was a cliquish system within the department. You either were in or you were out.
The free group interviewed 200 officers anonymously, detailing policies not being followed, evidence getting backlogged, murderers being allowed to walk the streets because cases go cold. The report mentions allegations that some officers even leaked information to drug dealers about search warrants, and those officers who may have leaked information were promoted. The company also interviewed some members of the public who say they want more police visibility on the streets, which is one of the program's new Police Chief Derek Diggs has already implemented: community engagement.
We have improved the safety of our citizens in our neighborhoods, and we will continue to do so.
Now, Chief Diggs says he's also taken a lot of weapons off of the streets since he started with the department. He also says he's going to be putting his officers through a lot of new training this year. Live in Fort Myers, Michelle Kingston, Wink News Now.